What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with another Tottenham update. And yes, you have noticed I am not with Ben today. I'm going to be doing this by myself. Unfortunately, he's not around. So, doesn't mean you're going to get anything less than the best. So, let's crack on with the first story. And we'll talk about the story coming out of Tottenham Hotspur, which is the rising ticket prices. Now, we know that Spurs at the end of last season announced that they'll be freezing season ticket prices for 23-24. So next season, season ticket prices will be frozen. That was met with a lot of praise, and rightly so. I think it was the right thing for Tottenham to do with the cost of living crisis. But there has now been a revelation, I should say. Well, Tottenham have basically announced that as much as season ticket prices will be frozen, individual match ticket prices for members and if they do go on general sale will be experiencing quite a significant price hike, I should say, of around 20% price increase from last season. And this has definitely not gone down well with a lot of Tottenham fans. They feel like, especially given the fact that we're out of Europe for the first time in 10 years, there's been a definite decrease in the quality of the product that Tottenham are offering. And as well, with a lot of the issues a lot of fans are going through right now, that a price rise is not necessary and not the right thing to do right now. Tottenham would argue, as a business, they want to see profits grow, and with the rise of inflation and a lot of different kind of supplier chain cost rises, they will have to raise their own prices. But I mean, definitely from a PR perspective, it's a bit of a disaster for Tottenham to be doing this at this point. And in terms of how I feel as a Tottenham fan about it, it doesn't sit right with me when Tottenham have the highest prices in the whole of England. Um, they don't have European football. The football at the moment isn't exactly the best that we've seen, albeit, yes, hopefully there's a change for next season. And the fact that there's a, there's high prices, and yet we constantly hear things like Tottenham have to compromise when it comes to signings on things like centre backs, and they can only afford to really push the boat on one centre back, and they have to go for a more expensive one and a cheaper one. Like, and that doesn't sit right with me when all of a sudden they're asking fans. Some fans are saying their ticket would usually cost £62, and now it's gone up to as much as £78 for a single ticket. And that is a significant price rise. I understand that Tottenham, at the end of the day, in this day and age, is a business, but I would argue football's a different kind of business to most other businesses when you have a loyal fan base who've lived and breathed their football club since they were young, and football clubs exploit that. But that's nothing new. This is not no new revelation that I'm pointing out. But I think we have the right to criticise it. I understand why Tottenham are doing it. They would argue every other club is doing it. It's in accordance with inflation, all this kind of stuff. But they might be right. But as a football fan, I have the right to put my opinion out there and criticize how they're just going for more and more profits. When if they were to not raise prices, they would still make a healthy profit on match day revenue, but they're just going for more and more money. And look, they have the right to do that. I have the right to criticize it, and that's what I'm going to do. So I don't think it's right. I think they should be more supportive of the match going fans, and I don't think they should be having such a significant price rise, especially in a time when the football has been great and they've been making a lot of wrong decisions. And they're trying to get the fans on side, and there's generally been a good feeling this summer with Ange coming in and a lot of things promising of change. And then they announced a 20% price hike on individual match tickets, and that doesn't sit right with me. So that's my opinion. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you understand the price rise of the tickets for individual matches, or do you think it's wrong that Spurs are implementing that for next season? Next story comes out of L'Equipe. They're claiming that Inter Milan will imminently make an offer for Tottenham goalkeeper Hugo Lloris, and that could be a move that is on the cards, which would surprise me considering Inter Milan obviously looks like Andre Onana is about to go to Man United for about 50 million euros. One of the best keepers in Serie A last season, and he was, one of his main strengths was his passing ability, and that was something that really helped Inter Milan make the Champions League final last season. So to go from that to a keeper who, let's be honest, Hugo Lloris isn't at the top of his game right now, definitely on the decline. his biggest weakness is probably Onana's biggest strength, which is his ability to play out the back with the ball at his feet. It would definitely be a bit peculiar signing, especially if they're signing him to be number one. Maybe they believe he's still got a few years left at the top level. I believe he's probably good enough to be backup right now for a top club like Inter Milan, but I don't know about being their number one. And that's if they're replacing Onana with him, I would have a few question marks if I was an Inter Milan fan. But they've done it before. They sold Lukaku and they brought in Edin Dzeko, and it didn't go too wrong for them. Albeit they did bring Lukaku back, but Dzeko had a very good time at Inter Milan as well. So maybe they feel like Lloris's decline has been overstated, and maybe that's something to consider for them. I'd be happy for him to go there. I think if we can get some money in, or even if it's just a free, I think that'd be a great move for him. It's better than still competing at the top level, playing Champions League football in a very good league, and maybe the mistakes in a new environment with something else to prove, a bit of extra motivation. Maybe he could prove that he's still not as bad as he showed last season. Because last season, let's be honest, his game was littered with mistakes, and as much as I love Hugo Lloris, he declined pretty rapidly. But maybe a move to a club like Inter Milan would help him along. I would argue, from Inter's point of view, I don't think it's the smartest thing. I would like to, if I was an Inter fan, I would probably like to see Onana replaced with someone of similar quality and also someone of similar age. But it looks like could be Lloris as a replacement. In fact, the Empoli owner said that he's very surprised that Inter Milan didn't go for Vicario instead of as it looks like Onana's being replaced. But obviously Vicario is joining Tottenham. He reckons Vicario is going to see Tottenham as a stepping stone, which is interesting. It's another topic, but it is interesting that Hugo Lloris, that they're going for him, who's a keeper definitely beyond his best, and maybe they're seeing something that we're not at the moment. But good luck to Hugo if he does end up going there. We'll obviously keep you updated with every move of that story. Moving on from Sky Sports Germany, Tottenham join Napoli as a club that holds an interest in Mönchengladbach defender Ko Itakura. Now, he's a Japanese centre back. He's 6'1". He's only spent one season at Borussia Mönchengladbach last season. He was before that in the second division Bundesliga for Schalke, and before that he was at Groningen for the Netherlands. Actually, he was originally signed from Man City. He was originally on their books early on, but never really made any appearances for them. And he's kind of done the rounds now. He's obviously now at Borussia Mönchengladbach. He played 24 times for him last season. Had a very good season. He's a defender who's definitely known for his good on the ball ability. He's a really good passer. He does have some reservations about maybe his physicality, and he doesn't really seem to perform very well when it comes to duels or defensive actions. Definitely seems to be someone who's more of a composed kind of defender, not one like Romero who launches into kind of defensive actions and launches into kind of getting involved in defense like that. He's a bit of a pit bull, but he definitely has strengths when he's passing range. In terms of price, it would be a relatively modest fee when you're looking at comparing him to the likes of Van de Ven and Tapsoba, albeit Tapsoba and Van de Ven are much ahead in their development, even though they're younger. They're much higher quality defenders. Itakura is 26, Tapsoba's 24, Van de Ven's 22. So I don't know if this is one I would go for potentially. He can play on the left, but again, he's right-footed. I wouldn't mind him as backup for a cheap price, but again, I want to see us buy two high-quality defenders who are capable of competing as our first choices. I'm not sure Itakura is one of those. So if we sign him, I guess if we sign him and maybe a Tapsoba, I wouldn't mind it. Him and a Van de Ven, I'm not going to be too overly ecstatic with that. But he is definitely a defender who's got high potential. If he can improve his ability, his defensive ability, and maybe his physicality. But the Premier League is a different kettle of fish, so keep an eye on that. I don't know if this is anything too concrete right now. Just Sky Germany report to be holding interest, but it looks like could be heading to Napoli to replace Kim Min-jae, who's off to Bayern Munich. Next story comes from Ali Gold, who's talking about our midfield options for next season. And he said one midfielder in particular who's understood to have caught Postecoglou's eye quickly, and that is Yves Bissouma. The Mali international has already had big admirers in Mason and Matt Wells who have joined Postecoglou's coaching staff and were taken with Bissouma's ability during their caretaker spell towards the end of the season. He also mentioned that there's still decisions to be made on Tanguy Ndombele as well, which obviously I was watching some of the training videos over the last few days, and for all the people say about his body language, he doesn't try all these things. Definitely didn't seem that to be the case in the training videos. I implore anyone to watch, and there is some interesting stuff. All the different training practices that Postecoglou is implementing definitely does seem interesting. So go on the Spurs YouTube channel, you can check that out. But in terms of Bissouma, for me, we haven't even seen half, or even even a tiny bit of the ability that he truly has in the Tottenham shirt. This is one of the best midfielders outside of the top four that we signed from Brighton a couple seasons ago. I do believe in a 4-3-3, it's really going to benefit his style of play. I think he has quality to play in the base of a six with his base of a three, sorry, as the number six, with his ability off the ball, his defensibility, and I think his on the ball ability as well is still got a lot of untapped potential. And I believe Postecoglou could be the man to bring that out. It could be, if that could be head of Ndombele, then we might have something really special. Obviously, there's still big question marks on Ndombele. We'll have to wait and see what Postecoglou's going to do with him. But what I would say is, in the training videos I'm looking at right now, he definitely seems to be putting a shift in. He definitely seems to be playing well, and maybe he's one as well that could catch up Postecoglou and revive his career. But I look, the potential of Bissouma, Ndombele, and Maddison midfield three definitely excites me. Whether it excites me more in theory than in practice, it might be the case. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you think should be the state of our midfield going into next season? Should we be looking at more players, or should we kind of stick with what we have and focus on other areas, which I kind of lean towards right now? Last thing I want to say is happy birthday to Heung-min Son, who turns 31 today, our Korean king. Obviously hoping for a big season for him next season. Didn't have the best season last season, but obviously everyone at WeAreTottenhamTV wishes him a big happy birthday. But that's all we have for you today on this Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section about anything we discussed today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on.